Hello everyone, and welcome to the Pancake Parlay, episode 61. As always, I'm your host, The Don, and I'm here with my lovely co-host, Chatters. How are you today, sir?
Yeah, I'm good, Don. How are you?
I'm doing pretty good. Today we're going to be talking about some, Game of Thrones. We're going to talk about a lot of, stuff what Disney's been doing with Star Wars, and if you like it or not. And even, we're talking about Shazam finally, which is really weird because we delayed a DC review. It's almost like magic.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, how strange for us not to do a review. I actually feel bad. There's like a lot of stuff by DC that I've been meaning to kind of watch but haven't like fully gotten around to. Like I did finally start watching Doom Patrol.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, which has obviously been a very interesting experience. I haven't finished it yet, or I'm not up to date rather.
Yeah.
But it is a very interesting show. The other thing that I haven't got around to watching is the Justice League versus the Fatal Five, which is basically a movie that's kind of set in the the DC AU, so the DC animated universe.
Is that actually what it's called, or did you coin that?
No, that's what it's actually called,
Oh,
the
right.
DCAU. Yeah, so so that's like all like Batman the Batman the animated series, Superman the animated series, Justice League Unlimited, Static Shock, Batman Beyond. I'm sure I'm missing like one other show that's kind of obscure that's technically part of it as well. I think it's called like Zeta, Project Zeta or something.
Mm.
But yeah, like all that's kind of under the umbrella of DCAU, and yeah, Justice League and the Fatal Five, I think technically is a part of it because it uses the same kind of art style. It has like returning voice actors and new characters in the same in new format. Like for example, I think it has Jessica Cruz as Green Lantern, which we haven't seen, which is pretty cool. But yeah, like there's a lot from DC that I haven't kind of gotten around to see. So hopefully I'll get some stuff in regards to it so we can finally get a review for it.
Yeah, like I feel like Doom Patrol we're hitting about that halfway point, so like we can have like a midway review or something like that, like a little catch up, and then go from
Definitely.
there. But yeah, what we're going to be talking about is obviously probably the big thing that happened actually today. Is Game of Thrones. Its last season premiered today, so we're at episode 1, which is aptly named Winterfell, because it's more or less based in Winterfell, and it's actually kind of bittersweet in a sense because like obviously the start of the show, the first like kind of scenes that you do show is mostly in Winterfell as well, so it's kind of like a semi callback, but it basically the wrap up from something like season 7. Like, by the way, this is full spoilers. I'm pretty sure you probably know the stuff by now, but it's always full spoilers.
Yeah. I think the issue is like, yeah, with something like Game of Thrones, it's hard to talk about it without spoilers, really.
You're like, yeah, man, this thing was really great. It's like, what are you talking about? Who knows?
Yeah. But yeah, like the episode kind of opens up with like, I guess like Daenerys and Jon bring their armies to Winterfell, much to the chagrin of the residents of Winterfell. Everybody's kind of like, and they kind of mention it, that they don't really trust foreigners coming into their land, which obviously, in a kind of world where you're constantly at war, especially in like a medieval era. It's not too surprising that people feel that way, especially when Daenerys has her like massive dragons, up in the air, scaring the shit out of everyone, right?
Yeah, and it's like it's not even that, but it's like as they do mention later on in the episode that they want Jon to be king. He's the king of the North. They want him to do stuff, and I feel like that very much seems to be a recurring theme so far. Not only in this episode, but I
Yeah.
feel like it could be an ongoing thing for this season, which I don't kind of like because I thought like everything was kind of set up in a sense, but now it feels like there seems to be a lot of inner turmoil. Where
Yeah.
with a lot of
Uh,
these characters who are just like, no, Jon, you should be king. And.
yeah, it definitely seems like it's one of those things where it's okay, yeah. Everybody's still upset at him because he, obviously like renounced his kingship to allow a foreigner to claim to be queen, so that all of Winterfell basically falls under her control because the king gave the power up, right?
Mm-hmm.
I kind of feel like it's one of those things that in the show, the people, and here's the thing, I kind of get it because it's like, the people, the average person that they're interacting with and like is in Winterfell, they probably don't come from like a educated background. They're probably very skeptical of the concept of White Walkers and whatnot. But I still kind of feel that like they should kind of understand the like the weight of what's going on. It's like, yeah, we have like an undead army that's broken through the Northern Wall. That's kind, I kind of like to, because you had the introduction with everybody right at the beginning. Jon Snow's going around hugging everyone. Daenerys and Sansa's like, giving each other like, evil eyes. And then Bran just like interrupts and is like, "We don't have time for this."
It's like,
The White
yeah,
Walkers.
we don't have time for this.
Yeah, he seems to be the only character who's on point in terms of bringing the plot along. It's like, hey guys, let's actually move things forward. Obviously because he has the eagle guy power or whatever it is. And I do like they make a kind of meta reference to that. Which I don't know, like if that's kind of George R. R. Martin's style to kind of refer to things like that. Like it seems like very much, because obviously everything that's happening this season doesn't have a reference book.
It doesn't. It doesn't even. It's basically where the books left off is where Jon Snow # died. Like, and that's very far away from where we are now. But like, and that's the thing. Like, knowing George R. R. Martin, his writing style, he really does like him to indulge in small details. So I almost feel like this was the base cliff notes, because like. The thing with Bran and his whole powers really have been, sidelined in a sense to kind of get to the main story. So I feel like when the book finally does come out, it will explain a lot more of those powers a little bit more and probably have a bigger role to play. Because we in the books you haven't even seen the whole Hodor thing, what happened with that, and that was like really long time ago. So, yeah, there's probably going to be more of an explanation and more of a big role for Bran in the books, but probably not in the TV show.
Yeah, it's interesting because the Hodor thing seems like something that was something George R. R. Martin set up from the beginning, right? Because clearly it works so well with what happened in that particular episode.
Yeah, it's no like Harry Potter retcon where it's like, oh, like... the Horcrux is the scar all along. Like, I'm like, nah.
Right.
You could easily make that up as you go, but like Hodor, a name called Hodor is very like very specific.
Yeah. Like it seems like yes, he definitely planned this particular scenario out, and that's executed. Whether or not there is something else that happens that has the same kind of impact, we'll see in terms of Bran's power. But again, the thing with Game of Thrones is like, despite the thing that's kind of cool about it is the magic aspect of the show is less something of a main focus, but more of a plot device, right? Like, you have magic, like demon assassins that kill people. That happened in like one of the previous seasons. And it's just like, it's like, it doesn't really matter how the magic works. It just does. And that leads to the death. And that's what's more important about Game of Thrones. So, in the end, like, I wouldn't be too disappointed if like Bran doesn't really gets like this cool major upgrade and he's really useful at the end. Like I don't necessarily mind if that doesn't happen. It just matters more like, for me, it's like he's supposed to be like almost like us telling everybody, hey, this is what you should be focusing on. Not like he is kind of like the person you're supposed to put your shoes in, because everything that's happening in the world, right? Because you've been watching Game of Thrones from seasons 1 through 8, you are like Bran as you're watching.
He's pretty much the audience surrogate almost.
Yeah. Except like in a typical TV show, like the audience surrogate would maybe be like Jon Snow or like some other kind of main character esque person. But yeah, Bran is kind of that character because he knows what's going on, much like how we know what's going on. and the greater threat. But yeah, I think for me, it's like what I was saying before. I kind of feel like everybody should rally around the concept of like White Walkers are important, but obviously part of that is undercut by the notion of, hey, like, people still want their own sovereignty. People don't want to come under the rule of a Targaryen. Again, they were oppressive rulers for like, hundreds of years, from my understanding, in terms
Yeah,
of
and that's the thing. That's the more and more I watch this episode, the more I think like, oh, like maybe this season isn't as cut as dry of like, let's kill White Walkers, because like I had a very overshadowing thing, and I had one theory that like crossed my mind. It could possibly be true, because you never know with Game of Thrones. I'm like, Sansa
well,
really...
let's call it now. Let's call it now.
Let's call it now. I'll put $15 on the table here. Like Sansa really does not like Daenerys, and like
no.
Yeah, she very much is like, I want to keep my own sovereignty. In the north. Not only that, but she doesn't trust Cersei with King's Landing and everything like that. And obviously,
understandably,
understandably. But my whole thing is that I swear to God, I was just like, man, I swear to God, Sansa's gonna like kill Daenerys somehow, like stab her in the back, and then like do some weird stuff like that, just because she doesn't want to rule. And then because you could kind of say almost like Sansa's semi-pure of heart, like she's gone through the worst out of probably everyone.
Well, I guess here's the thing, right? With Sansa, she spent a lot of time at King's Landing under the iron thumb of the Lannisters, right? So maybe she has picked up some of their techniques in order to survive. As Tyrion says in the episode, like, a lot of people, to paraphrase him, he said something along the lines of, a lot of people thought you wouldn't make it, and now all of them are dead. Like, it just kind of shows that. Yeah, and the thing is, I agree. I felt like Sansa's character, like seasons 1 through probably 3, like if that's kind of like when maybe 1 through 4. That's like when they had all the stuff happened there, and she's like stuck in King's Landing for a long time. That's when you kind of dealt with this like really annoying, really kind of bratty, really like up herself and damsel in distress Sansa. But then after she escapes and after she kind of like leaves with like Littlefinger, you can kind of get to see a little bit about her, like her cunning and her ability to kind of manipulate people, move things towards like and be like the chess player, which I guess like you kind of have to be in order to survive, right? Like her character definitely developed a lot since that time. And I mean, that just goes to show, like, under heat, like, like certain people either rise or fall. And her character improved significantly throughout the series. So yeah, I can definitely see like
character now.
A really well-rounded character. And yeah, and if any of the Starks, here's the thing, the Starks are usually known for their good character. But if any of them would do something that's underhanded, I can definitely imagine it being Sansa. And then, as we kind of see a little bit more here, we have, the younger sister.
Yeah, we have Arya Stark.
Yeah, Arya.
And like, I think she's still probably hell-bent doing her little like killing everyone spree. Like, I feel like I think she'll probably die at some point, like trying to get her revenge as well. Like, she'll do some stuff like that. I feel like she's kind of crossed the path almost, and like, especially like her interaction with the Hound, where it's almost just like there's all this random stuff going on with them too, and even like Gendry, and like I like, obviously there's going to be some sort of payoff, because like obviously she's talking to Gendry being like, hey, I want you to make a particular weapon, and I wonder what that is. I don't know what it is, but
yeah, I'm interested to see. You know what, I don't actually remember their interaction in Game of Thrones, Gendry and Arya.
That was season 2, season 3, when they were on the run with the with the pork pie guy. And they were taken by the soldiers, and Gendry was the older. He's the bastard Baratheon, and he's like the last one.
Yeah. I remember him like working the forges, but I don't remember them. Again, it probably was very early, probably the reason why. But I do like how they kind of have like a this weird kind of like flirty relationship. But it's good to see them all just kind of grow up. Like, and we're growing up with them. Over 8-9 years of this show has been kind of going.
And it's actually kind of sad, because like I kind of want this to be the second last season almost, just because it's just like I liked the kind of tension interaction with something with Sansa and Daenerys because they never met until now. I liked seeing the interaction between Sansa and Arya and like Jon because they haven't been together really since like, the second last season or even like, the first season. It's one of those things where it's like I kind of want to see more of the interaction after they've all evolved, after being like kids, for example. I guess like I don't know how much of that we'll get in this season, but it's something where I'm like, they could have easily done like another season of this type of feel to it before we get to the big battle. Because I feel like the interactions with a lot of the characters are still very interesting, especially with the characters who've been separated this whole damn time and they're coming back.
Yeah, I mean, I kind of feel like this episode kind of felt a lot like, hey, everybody's meeting up, and we're having, and everybody like who haven't seen each other in a while, they're going to be like catching up and being boys again. But there's kind of a little bit of a push forward into what we're going to be seeing later this season, which is fine because again, it's the opening episode. People need to be reintroduced to what happened. Last season.
Yeah, for example, one of the bombs that drops is that Samuel Tarly gets told by Daenerys that she killed like her father and brother.
Yeah, well, the thing is, I didn't like. I remember that happening, and they do give you a bit of a recap of the last season or so, just to kind of remind you, hey, this actually happened, and for this reason, right? I remember that happening, but I didn't remember like the names of the people. I'm like, all right, that's Randall, and that guy's name is Dickon, and that's really funny. And that's it, right? But it was pretty intense. Especially given Samwell was initially asking for like very like soft-spokenly for like a pardon for stealing books, but then eventually like you could see like he changed, like how like upon finding out his dad dying not so much, but when he found out his brother died, there's just like a really big emotional change. I think the actor's name John Bradley did an excellent job. Sam's obviously become like a pretty I think a fan favorite.
Yeah, he's definitely a fan favorite. Basically every single fantasy thing you need a Sam in your life.
Quite literally.
Yes.
The thing that I found really funny is consistently everybody like stares at Bran, who just happens to be in the same spot staring at everyone at every particular time.
Well, he's got a wheelchair. Where is he gonna go? Like, honestly.
Well, but that's what I'm saying. Who's irresponsibly leaving this poor child like outside in the cold, and just like watching him getting freaked out and running away almost,
especially the ending moments with him and Thingamajiggy, the other Lannister guy.
With him and Jaime Lannister at the end.
It's like, you did this.
Like, hey, look, if anybody's going to be able to give Bran a push around, it would be Jaime, just saying. But yeah, it's interesting to see. I think the other thing that would be interesting, if you think about it, he's always looking at the characters, right, directly at them, but he could also be looking at the audience. I'm not too sure. That's just like something I'm just going to throw out there. That
would be meta.
Yeah, like that could be something, as in like he's watching us, not the character. They just happen to be in the way, because they're watching for whatever reason. That'd be pretty interesting if that ended up being the case, but I don't know. I'm just going to throw that out there just in case.
Yeah, but that's the thing. He's seeing stuff, so it's like he's there, but he's never really there. Since he's basically always traveling through like a raven or like something else. He can see stuff, so it's like I guess he's doing something else. He
exactly.
seems to be in this season. He's the info dump for everyone.
Very much so. I think there's some other stuff about like Jon and Daenerys going on the dragon ride, which I'm like, that took a lot of time.
It's like, what is this? How to Train Your Dragon?
I did see a few memes about it. I don't know if you saw it. It was like, I love the dragon scene, and it's just like a scene from like How to Train Your Dragon 3 or something like that, which I thought was pretty good. But yeah, it was just one of those things like, yeah, the dragons look cool, and like, yeah, it's cool to see their relationship, but there's all this time given to it, and I was just like, I want to see more people fight, or well, not fight, but like more drama. Give me the spicy,
Well,
juicy drama.
yeah. Well, the bomb
It's
is
it's
that the
mm,
bomb is that like Sam told John that he's like
mm,
related to Daenerys and he's a
exactly.
trueborn king. That's the drama. That's
Well,
the turning point.
well, I kind of found that funny because like I was literally thinking, oh man, Daenerys just told him she killed his brother and father, and now he's gonna pay her back by saying that they're related to each other,
Mm.
both Jon Snow and Daenerys. But yeah, it's very interesting to see, given that Sam does drop the bomb that hey, like Jon Snow is actually a Targaryen and the true heir to the throne. But it would be interesting to see what he does with that information. Does he actually like try and become the king? Also, the fact that now there's like a tension between him and Sam's relationship because, well, he's in love with the woman who killed his family, even though like he didn't like his father that much, but he loved his brother.
Mm.
Um, so there's some tension there now. I remember reading people saying, what would be funny if like Sam ends up killing Daenerys. That's he does like an Ollie in the previous seasons where Ollie killed Ygritte. And it's just like he like give like Ollie kind of gives Jon Snow like a nod. It's like, yeah, I saved your life, and Jon's just like, the fuck,
It's like what the hell, man.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Which I kind of found funny and also tragic. Like, but that's kind of what Game of Thrones is.
Yeah, well, that's the thing. There's definitely foreshadowing, especially when you talk to Tyrion and I always forget the bald monk guy's name, but basically when they were talking together and they're
Oh,
just like
Varys.
Varys, where they're just like, yeah, nothing like ever lasts forever. This whole happy period's gonna die. So it's like, they're whole like, oh man, we're in love and we're all together. It's like, yeah, this is not gonna end up pretty
Well,
well at all.
somebody pointed out that Daenerys and Jon, they were talking at the caves, and Daenerys was saying we could just hide in this cave for 1,000 years, and well, him and Ygritte like did the nasty in a cave, and she ended up dying as well, and saying that she wished they could stay in the cave also. So again, it's kind of like foreshadowing that like their relationship isn't gonna last. As I've mentioned before on the previous podcast, I want Jon Snow to become the new Night King or whatever. Because the undead become uncontrollable, so he has to be the Night King, and therefore they can't be together. That seems to be that's a version of an unhappy ending that I would like. But
Mm-hmm.
whether or not we get it is another thing.
Yeah, possible.
Yeah, it's possible. Who knows? Anything's possible. I just don't want a good ending or something like everything looks like it's gonna be good, but then like in the last like I want to say maybe 20 minutes, everything goes to shit.
Yeah, and
Right? Like
I
that's
think
what.
that's going to happen because the whole theme with Game of Thrones is like you play the game or you die. Like you don't. The whole thing with Ned Stark in the first season is like you're loyal and then someone will betray you. So it's like that will be I think the through line throughout the end of the whole series. I feel like where it's like everyone thinks it's okay, then someone else is going to betray someone, and then kind of like a cycle of sorts kind of continues where it's like the
Yeah, like
war
they
for the
don't
Iron
learn.
Throne does
Yeah,
not end. Regardless
yeah.
of how big the threat is.
Well, yeah, it's one of those things where it's like they said the last episode is like maybe an hour and a half, so like maybe the first hour is like them wrapping up everything. They kill the Night King, and then somebody stabs Jon Snow in the back, and it's none other than that Jormund guy who's
Jorah
a
Mormont, who's somehow
oh,
alive all the time.
Jormund. Yeah, well, actually, before we get to those guys, I want to talk about stuff that's happening at King's Landing. So all the stuff with Cersei, the Golden Army, oh sorry, the Golden Company, come with all their like stuff, and yeah, it's like Cersei sleeps with the urine guy. There's like a funny exchange which I kind of liked
But
between them.
did they sleep? You didn't see it. Like
They 100% did. That's the whole point of
yeah,
the
but
scene.
my whole thing was like I swear to God she was gonna stab him or something, like kill him. But
Oh well, I mean, she clearly said he was better than what is it
Jamie.
Robert
All right.
Baratheon or whatever. But yeah, it's one of those things where it's like there's not too much going on at King's Landing. They're just like kind of setting up that oh yeah we're gonna betray Daenerys, like this is like, obviously it's like it's a power vacuum that they want to take advantage of. Like the other thing I mentioned, I think in a previous podcast, I was like, yeah, the first half is maybe them dealing with the White Walkers. So maybe for the first, how many episodes is this season?
6, I
Is it
think.
6?
Yeah.
Yeah, so if it's 6, like the first 3 episodes is about them kind of dealing with the White Walker threat, and then during this or right after it, that's when Cersei and her band of merry people start tearing shit up, and they try and like take advantage of the power vacuum. So in the end, like the White Walkers are purely once again kind of like magic in Game of Thrones. They are but the like mechanism or the plot device to kind of push the whole aspect of drama along. It's not really important that they're zombies and like the children of the forest
Well,
technically
they
accidentally
did have
made
that weird
them.
scene with the guy with the flame sword and everything, the light guys, where they
Yeah.
went to a place and they were burning the children of the forest, I think they're called, or the nymphs, and they were burning it, and it turned into that spiral symbol.
Well, yeah. Well, we can. Yeah. So what happens is, so they go to, I believe it's called the Last Hearth. Now, I kind of remember. Was this place also the place where like I forget the guy. Tortured like Eamon and stuff, like the Greyjoy guy.
Yeah, I know what you mean.
Was this the area where they did it, and then like he ended up feeding the wolves to like kill the guy right here? I'm pretty sure
I think
because this area seemed familiar, but I didn't know why. But it's not really
but
important.
yeah, I don't know. This was like season 5 or something.
Yeah, like ages ago. But yeah, and so like they're kind of sent here. Everybody's like there's blood everywhere, but no bodies. And they kind of run into each other, and I do kind of liked it how they were like, oh, like Tormund is like, I forget the guy's name, but he's like, oh, it's got blue eyes. Be careful. It's like I've always had blue eyes. Again, this kind of doesn't seem like George R. R. Martin's writing, like in terms of the whole series. Like I feel like his kind of jokes are more like, it's like they'll be like not explicit. They'll be like a little bit more like nuanced in how they're executed. Like they'll be like
Essentially, it's
like
anything. Yeah,
quippy, witty like responses rather than my eyes were already blue.
yeah. It
Which is still
basically,
funny,
yeah,
but
yeah, it is funny, but it's like, yeah, the main focus in the jokes that I think George R. R. Martin plays with is with Tyrion Lannister. He's the one with the jokes, and he's the one with the quippy type of stuff. He's mostly the one who has the humor.
Yeah,
in the
I
series.
did like his exchange with Varys, where he's like, Varys was like, oh, you're so uncomfortable with midget jokes, but you get, but you love talking about making jokes about eunuchs, and it's like, yeah, it's because I've got balls, and it's just like he just keeps going like, yeah, well, yeah, that's just it. It's because I have balls, man. Like
That's the joke.
that's the joke, and it's just like it's kind of funny because again, it shows his, he doesn't really care, and he only really cares about himself. But the thing is, again, Tyrion became a very likable character throughout Game of Thrones. I think he kind of always was because he was always kind of like the underdog, and they just became more redeeming as like the show goes on. Same thing with Jaime. Like Jaime literally pushed a pushed a kid out of a a
The
building.
tower, yeah.
Yeah, while
And that's the thing. It's like his character did change after it. Like he loses his hand, and it's like very much at that point. That's the character redemption arc. And my theory with that is still like he's probably going to kill his own sister.
Well, yeah. I think a lot of people reckon that too. Like because he is the Kingslayer, so it would be kind of poetic for him to also be the Queenslayer too, and to kill his own. Kill his own
Twin,
sister /
basically,
lover.
yeah. All the
But
drama,
yeah,
basically.
yeah, more drama. But yeah, like so, yeah, as a Tormund, and the gang kind of like, investigate, because they meet up with the Night's Watch. That's what they were kind of like scared about, when they crossed paths. But they see this kind of big spiral figure with like a child kind of, nailed into it. And while they're talking, and if you don't pay attention, because I saw this, but I could definitely imagine you not paying attention because you're focused on Tormund speaking. In the background, you see the kid's eyes like kind of change blue, so you kind of know that he's still alive.
Mm.
So it was coming, and then he comes alive and tries to stab him, but then the dude with the cool fire sword, Beric, he kind of stabs him, but then lights this whole kind of thing on fire, and it's just this really like creepy. It kind of reminded me of like the Targaryen like symbol, but apparently, that symbol has been used by, I think, the children of the forest or whatever.
Mm.
Um,
Yeah,
so I think
because
it's like a
when I
reference
first
to
saw it,
that.
everyone was like, "That's the the Targaryen symbol with all the dragons," but it's like it's
Yeah,
spiral like, but it's different.
yeah, exactly. And so I was looking on like some forums and stuff, and people talking about it, and yeah, they said like, oh no, it's actually like a symbol that like the children of the forest have used. They've used it before in like the big battle, like over the wall. Like some of the bodies were like arranged in the spiral in one of the previous episodes, and I'm like, huh, okay, cool. It's cool that people actually like picked all that shit out and already know. But yeah, overall, like kind of, I really like the episode, but it's very much a recap episode. It's just trying to like get you back up to speed with what's happening, and getting you back into the world of Game of Thrones after being gone for almost like 2 years, right?
Yeah, it's been a long time,
Yeah,
and it's just
I
like
mean,
this is the biggest show like of our generation, and probably for a lot of people, because
I
like
mean it,
I don't
it
know,
it's been
yeah.
a while that there's been something. Okay, so like maybe like I think maybe something big in the past would have been something like MASH, right?
Yeah, MASH,
In
or I
terms
know
of
in the '90s people really liked the Twin Peaks. Like when it came to
Twin
primetime
Peaks.
drama, I think that changed a lot of people. Or like I know like Simpsons made fun of, but like the Who Shot JR moment in that TV show. Like
Yeah.
there's certain things that people are like, oh my god, or maybe even the end of Lost, possibly. Like for some people, like there are some
Yeah,
people.
there's definitely like event cinema has, or sorry, event TV has kind of disappeared as we've kind of gone more digital. Since everybody has more choice and can watch things when they want now. Like and the whole concept of like the water cooler conversation like is yeah. I watched all of uh you know uh this Netflix TV series, but you don't watch it like like serially every week, right?
Mm.
It's very much like every week people are like tuned in to watch Game of Thrones. Like they'll come back from work or they'll do X or Y just to watch Game of Thrones. I don't think it's been a long time since there's been anything like that. And I don't think like in terms of like for myself, have I had anything where it's like people around me were also kind of focused every week about okay, this is happening. And also it's also we're more connected than we ever were in the past. Now like the whole world is watching as well.
Yeah,
Um,
and it is very interesting to be at this time capsule. That's why I feel like this is very much a big deal. But yeah, overall, I'm really interested to see where this show goes. Obviously just like little small tidbits with the what is it, the Greyjoys, and
yeah, yeah,
like
all that stuff.
their whole thing is like whatever. Like
Yeah,
still,
it seemed very much like kind of like like very fast forwarded. It's like, yeah, you're a prisoner, but then he comes back and he saves you, and you punch him in the face because you've got attitude. And then it's like, yeah, now we're gonna go and help Cersei. Sorry, I mean Daenerys. Like it's one of those things that like, yeah, clearly it's not like the most important plot point, but it's probably gonna be like they're gonna be important in that one time where you're like, oh, what is Daenerys gonna do now? And then the ships come and save them. Like that's what I reckon their role will be.
it's basically
Once
the MCU thing where they're just like. They set up like the Netflix people, and then they're just like, oh, they'll appear like in Endgame or whatever, and they don't. It's like,
yeah, I mean
but
it's
in
it's
this show, they'll obviously do something. But yeah,
yeah, I mean that's the difference, right? Yeah, I think yeah, it's not super interesting. Like the interesting stuff was happening like in Winterfell primarily, and hence why the episode is called Winterfell. But yeah, we'll have to see where things go forward, and if things kind of continue going on, path of I guess the bad ending that I want for Game of Thrones. I want a bad end, or like what quote unquote people would call a bad ending.
Well,
Because a
I
bad
saw
ending
I
is
saw a
called
poll on I saw a poll on Facebook, and everyone's like, who's gonna sit in the Iron Throne, and the top one is no one. So
yeah.
people expect that no one's gonna sit on it. So
Okay, that's pretty interesting. Yeah, I like the theory, like as in like everyone dies or like nobody truly like accepts who is the like true king. Like, all that kind of stuff makes sense. I can see it happening.
yeah, very
But
much
who
so.
knows? Especially since like I don't know, the other thing is like because we have the prequel series happening as well, it's like it could just mean like maybe they do tie everything up in a nice bow. I want my bad ending. I
Yeah,
want my Game of Thrones bad ending, where
you
people are
could.
unhappy and everybody gets backstabbed and a lot of people die. I want a lot of people dying this season.
All right, I think you're pretty much gonna get that choice. But yeah,
Yeah.
but yeah, that's episode 1. Obviously, we got 5 more to go, and then shit's gonna get really crazy until then.